Hello, friends. Hello. Hi. Hello. Welcome to this game. Ty, what game is this that we're playing?
This game.
You're the Mythos person.
I like that we don't have an opening for this.
No, we don't.
That's my favorite part of the show is the lack of opening.
Listen, that's Dave's thing, and Dave's not here.
Yeah. Correct.
We should have hired an opening person.
Schmuckies.
The herald of this game.
The Heralds, yeah.
This is Our Traveling Home, a game by Ash Kreider. We are in Act 1 currently. We are getting close to the end of Act 1, which we will achieve tonight. We will achieve climax of Act 1. Let's go around.
There it is.
Everyone go around, say your name, pronouns, and your character. I am Ty. I am Enoch. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing the Cursed. Now let's give it to Maria.
Me, hello, I'm Maria. I use they, she pronouns tonight. I am playing the Wizard, who can also go by Wiz, who uses they and them and wizard pronouns. I will throw it to Alex.
Hey, I am a disembodied voice of Alex Gosson. I will be playing Mezakine. My pronouns are she, her. My character's pronouns don't matter.
They don't exist.
It's relevant.
They're
I am
irrelevant.
the demon, Zachary.
Hello, that's me. I'm Zach. My pronouns are they and them, and I will be playing Orlest, the child playbook. And Orlest, not the playbook's pronouns are he and they.
Hooray! We did it.
What happens when we get to the end of the line?
What do we do now?
What do we do now?
That's
Not
it,
my
folks.
pick. Someone say a scene that's happening.
Yeah, so last time we did some scenes. We are continuing to do more scenes tonight. That's how this
Ta-da!
game works. We play scenes.
We have 2 scenes before the finale in Act 1.
Correct.
So we'll be doing a minimum of 3 scenes tonight.
Yes.
Perhaps more.
I think we had decided on the scene to resume with being goofing off. Goofing off. It takes a lot of work to maintain your home. What do you do when it's time to take a break? Who do you spend time with? What do you find the most relaxing? This is a game for whoever wishes to play. Begin by having each character who is playing describe the mundane, tedious, or irritating task that they have just finished. Then we will take turns selecting a prompt from the list below or come up with one of our own if nothing appeals. Ask one or more players to join you, describe what happens, and play out a brief scene. And if nothing comes to mind, you can pass or look at the time and realize you have to get back to work. When everyone has passed or gone back to work, the game is over. So who wants to play?
I will play.
Yeah, I don't think Mezakine knows how to goof off, so I'm out.
Okay.
I would like to goof off.
Excellent. Does anyone want to go first?
Let's look at these prompts.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and the child. I would like to. I would like to grab the child. So, I would like to grab a child. No, I want to. After the rather harrowing market trip that they all had. By they I mean the Wizard and Orlest. I think there was a bit of like frenzied overprotection. Everything was fine, but then the Wizard went around and like quadruple checked everything and like redid things that didn't need to be redone and like all that sort of stuff. And I think probably asked Orlest to help, which is interesting because it is magic and is like trusting Orlest a little bit more with the magical stuff. And then I think one day I think the Wizard had asked Orlest to come and help them with the library because there was some books that were being a little bit stubborn and teaching Orlest how to talk to books to make them listen sometimes when they want
rite of
to.
Passage.
Yeah. And I think they've calmed down the books enough, and there is a book that that Wiz kind of sees and pulls off the shelf And I imagine this is like a one of those libraries that has like the sliding, ladders, like, Beauty and the Beast style library. And walks over to where Orlest is, and I'm sure you're on your own, like either precariously perched on a ladder or like on a ladder, like a slidey ladder. And gestures for you to come down and have a seat next to the fireplace, and hands you a book. And says, and leans back in their chair, and they hold their hand out, and then like a teacup just appears full of tea. And one just kind of appears next to where you're sitting, and while they're drinking their tea, they say, "I would like for you to read from me what is in that book."
Okay. What's the outward look of this book? What are we dealing with? Is it spooky? Does it look mean?
So most of the books in the library, I think, are very tomey. So some of them do look mean, like the book in the Harry Potter with the chompy teeth. Some of them are like this, the spooky chompy teeth variety. But I think a lot of them are just like giant old looking books. This one looks almost like handmade, but not well, as if like a young person had made it as like my first book. And it's just really bare leather, like there's no adornment or anything on it. That's what it looks like from the outside. It looks rather boring, which is a strange thing to find in the Wizards anywhere.
Boring stuff in the Wizards place spooks me.
Now I'm just picturing books that are chained being the only ones that are like the adult books.
No comment.
So, or less, while holding like a mug of tea in one hand, has picked up the tea and then is trying to like open the book with the other one hand, and eventually gives up and like sets the teacup back down. It's like, so like sections, should I start from the beginning? Do you want me to read it aloud, or should I just
I would love for you to read it out loud. And because I want to see what you read. This is this is an old, and by old I mean I haven't seen it in a while, book. One of the
lost book.
Well, yes, but I mean you've been here enough to know that lost things find their way around eventually.
Yeah.
This was one of the first spells I learned how to do. One would call it almost a choose your own adventure book. So how it works is, as you're reading it, you start to think of where the story could go, and it will continue to write the story for you. I remember using it a lot when I was younger. I kept getting the same story though.
Okay, so I just start reading the story from here, and then and then it'll just keep filling itself in.
So like as you look, if you open it up and look at it, you can see that the first like 2 pages, like one page, you flip it over to the other side, have writing on them, and then the rest of it is completely blank, except for the very, 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 very last page, which is just very scrawled the end.
There once was a grand wizard in the deep dark forest. Is that... Hey, I'm sorry to... I don't mean to... Did you write this? Is this about... Never mind.
I wrote the... I mean, I had to write something in it.
Just a little starter prompt, yeah.
Listen, was there anything that you wanted to be when you grew up? It's a grandiose, weird thought, but okay. Well, when I was young, I always knew I was going to be a big wizard. I mean, we could make that listen, if that's an actual goal, we could. It's
We'll
advanced
circle back.
magic, but we could figure it out.
Birds are?
Becoming a bird.
Oh, okay. Anyway, there was a grand wizard in a deep dark forest whose house leapt from the ground into the clouds above. It stops and then there's only like a sentence after that, and it says that it stops. And I'm like, hold up the book. It's like I ran out of
So,
a room.
have you ever imagined a story before?
Uh-uh.
All right. Have you ever acted in a play or pretended you were something else, or yet the scenario around you is different?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done something like that?
Sometimes I would pretend that I tripped and sprained my ankle so that the other kids could go and grab food from the cart while the vendor was distracted. I used to do that a bunch.
Okay.
We did a pretend, and I was the bird wrangler, and everyone else was like knights and stuff, but I don't know, I just thought like maybe I was like the bird knight.
Okay, so like when you were pretending to be the bird knight, you had in your head thought of a reason for being the bird knight and where the bird knight might have come from and all those sorts of things, right? That's
Because there's so many birds, somebody's got to be the knight of the birds.
Exactly. So that's imagination. So that's what you kind of, that sort of thing, tap into that. And then think about where this story could go. And you can change, this is going to be your story, so you can change it however you want. It might have started with the tales of a big, scary wizard in the woods with a flying, jumping house, but it can be your story.
Yeah. The house jumps by, never to be seen again. Is that okay?
It's your story. It can be however you want.
Wait, hold on. Out of character. I'm blanking on what our weird dog's name was.
Stumpy.
Stumpy. I was like,
And he's
I
a
kept thinking
catamander.
Chumpy.
Catamander.
The house jumped out of the way. It was not important anymore. Enter stage left Stumpy, a large catamander, impervious to all types of vulnerabilities, unkillable, and the softest catamander you ever did see. He befriended everyone in the forest and taught them how to read. And then Stumpy ran for mayor of the forest. Is that anything? Is there do forests have mayors?
This one can.
Or okay. But do they?
Sometimes when there's people who live in the forest.
Okay. Does anyone live in this forest in the story?
What do you think?
I think I said that all the people in the forest got taught how to read by Stumpy, so I think so, yeah.
Something lives
there. Yeah.
Maybe it's a forest of squirrels or raccoons?
Okay, so it's a forest of squirrels and also maybe raccoons that all know how to read. They all voted for Stumpy in the election. He ran on helping everyone in the forest learn how to read.
Good.
They all liked him a lot. He was good and everyone was happy about Stumpy. No one said that we shouldn't have Stumpy because he's too spooky.
Put down the teacup. Has someone told you that recently?
I just get that vibe that sometimes everyone thinks Stumpy's a little spooky and they don't want us around. And
Wait, us? As in, like, you and Stumpy.
Well, it's just like, Stumpy is doing his best, but like, obviously, like, doesn't fit in that well here, and can't do most of the magic's good except for the types that he's not allowed to do. And sometimes it just feels like Stumpy feels a little left out, and like it's but it's fine because now Stumpy's mayor of the forest.
Mm-hmm. And how does Stumpy's story end?
Everyone lived happily ever after? That's how stories go, right? That's the end part of stories?
This story end?
There was a big squirrel uprising to take over the government, but Stumpy realized he didn't like being mayor anyway, so he let the squirrels run the forest government.
All right.
Stumpy kept hanging out with the squirrels, so they all were friends who could read. Did I do it right? I feel like I didn't do it right.
As you turn the last page, you see it says the end, and there's like a little drawing of like Stumpy with like a mayoral hat, and just surrounded by squirrels who also have mayoral hats.
Mm-hmm.
What do those look like? What do mayor hats look
They're
like?
Yeah, it's mayor hats.
So like when I think about it, I think of like a monocle and a top hat for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, mayoral hats.
Yeah.
It's
so
just
that's
a
what they're
hat
wearing.
that says mayor on it.
Exactly. It's like the sash that just says mayor. And
Stumpy's like doing this wave.
yeah, exactly. And Wiz kind of leans over and says, I think that's a pretty good story.
Stumpy didn't really do the whole hero's journey thing. I kind of lost the plot a little bit, but I think everyone had a nice time in this story, so that should count for something when we grade this.
Oh, this wasn't a test. This wasn't a test.
It felt like, hey, Wiz, it felt like a test.
See, there's a difference between a test and a learning experience.
It's different between a test and an assessment. Okay, so what, did I pass the learning
assessment.
experience?
That is up to what you think.
So I didn't then.
Well, then it's up to what I think, and I think you did.
Okay, that seems better. Is this supposed to teach me the spell of how to teach animals how to read?
No, this is supposed to give you a chance to spark your imagination, which is a big thing in magic.
Oh, but
Creativity is big and important in magic.
well, you're just gonna teach me all the list of spells, and I'll know all the spells.
Oh, see, so we're gonna touch on one thing real quick, and I'm just gonna stand up, and like, you know, kind of like, pick up the teacup and pick up your teacup, kind of stack them together, and like help you out of the chair, or like, no, I like lift a finger and the chair kind of tips forward and like helps you out.
Knocks me out of the chair like the beginning of a sitcom where the bed flips out.
Yeah, and as they walk out, and I also as the scene kind of fades, they say one of the biggest things you're going to learn about magic is that there isn't actually a list of spells. So when you go into magic, and they're going to start talking about like the emotional state of magic and how it's all just kind of pretend and nobody really knows what they're doing, and you're about to learn how to be an adult vis-a-vis magic.
This is feeling like a metaphor.
Yep.
Is this a metaphor for growing up?
Just continues talking about magic and continues walking away.
Scurrying along with the book.
Yep. That's our I did in fact select someone to read me a book.
Nice.
That was my goofing off.
What a goof that we did there. Ty, did you want to select a goof?
Yeah, I think I'll do a goof. I'll do, I think Enoch had the mundane task is that I think Enoch is the one who's generally been doing all the cooking we've established, but also has to do a lot of the dishes, which he hates. So I think he's been like deep cleaning the kitchen for several hours, and just needs a break. So pulls out the tablet that the Wiz gave him and knows there's enough time to get out of the home before it leaps again. So he goes to Orlest. Says, I have the tablet here. I think we have a little bit of time. I was wondering if maybe you'd want to come with me back to the wilds. With maybe a little more, luck than we had last time.
Yeah. The wild sounds fun.
Excellent. And he fits again as I think Enoch just kind of walks for a while in relative silence, kind of absorbing the outside with knowing that he has more time, like an actual time more than last time.
I think also to help with that, as you are leaving the house, I think the Wiz is like outside on like the 5th balcony, like sitting like on a swing, like repainting something on the house, and they see you all leave, and they like shout down and they say, I'll put a timer on the...
Yeah, can you put it in park?
Yep, just let me know when you get back this time.
Yes, we shouldn't be too long, thank you.
Don't, take your time. It's just like covered in paint.
The main goal of this is Enoch wants to get some flowers from the woods.
Aww.
So walks for a while with Orlest and says, I was thinking about perhaps decorating the kitchen with some of the local flora, not fauna.
Yeah. Which one is?
Come home with a freaking deer.
Flora. Yeah.
Yes.
Wouldn't be the first time.
A deer to decorate the kitchen. No, just liven the place up a little. I mean, it's already pretty wild and extravagant, but just something a little different. Is there any of these that called you? Kind of gestures to the wilds.
There's a forest. Pick one. Yeah, Orlest like takes a minute examining the flowers very closely, like individually. Like we'll go up to one that looks kind of like kind of rose shaped, and like does a sniff of it, and then like kind of tilts it one way or the other. It's like, no, that's not the right one. And kind of inspects a few flowers, and then there's one that's kind of just like real vivid and weird. Like I'm in my head, I'm thinking, what if you made a birds of paradise, but just too much? So I'm imagining it's just like a really bright flower with a lot of like vibrant colors kind of shooting out in all directions. And like, can we this one?
I like that one. Yes. Ooh. What drew you to it?
It's got a lot of colors that it reminds me of when you do a magic and all the energy kind of goes. It's got that vibe to it. It looks like what that feels like.
Got vibes.
Yeah, good vibes.
Or I think Enoch grabs some purple and orange snapdragons as well. That's what he's drawn to.
Snapdragons is like my next one up on the list of like, what flowers will a child think is fun?
When I was a kid, snapdragons.
It's snapdragons. Yeah, it's absolutely, obviously. They just do the whole.
Yeah. I think Enoch like trying to focus and become more corporeal like shows Orlest like, look at this.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Put your finger inside. Yeah, right like that. Yes.
Don't. Makes a little chomp noise at you.
And after that, we'll head back.
Yeah. Or let's just grab like a handful of them, and it is just like has the bouquet like wrapped in arms.
And Enoch will spend the better part of the evening like with Orlest decorating the kitchen with all these flowers. Before, go ahead. Something, Maria?
No, I was just like, that's very sweet. I was just exclaiming.
Back on Enoch's. I think as Enoch's heading back to the roof, we'll like try to find a moment when the wizard is not in like his bedroom and like slip a little flower into one of his coat lapels.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, I think they came
They're cool.
they were covered in paint, just like splattered everywhere when you got back. And they just kind of like a dog, like head to toe, just kind of like shake, and it just kind of all just like a sparkly glitter just kind of like falls down and onto the ground, and then they're fine. And they just slide their coat back on. Maybe not like right when you're done, but like probably close to when you're done, like decorating. They'd come into the kitchen, do that, and say, "Oh, this is nice. These are nice." Just kind of like waves a hand towards like all of this. Just like I see what I imagine is like a ridiculous amount of flowers inside this teeny tiny kitchen. Just like
my thought
everywhere.
with Orlest is instead of like putting them together in like a vase or whatever, or like any sort of display, it's just like taking various different flowers and like putting the stem through like a handle for a cupboard and just like in random spots, so there's just flowers kind of everywhere.
Yeah, I'm imagining like those bouquets that are like this wide, but like just and like this tall, just just like so many everywhere.
Mez will definitely walk through and take that bright flower that that they found, that Orlest found, and like surreptitiously take it back to her room and put it in a little vase.
What flower did you put in? Wiz's
Snapdragon, purple snapdragon.
Purple
in there.
snapdragon.
Yeah, like a little like sprig of like 3 of them.
Do you do it like in passing or
No, like in secret. Like would make sure there was a time where like the wizard had left some coat unattended and would slip it in.
Oh, how lovely. Okay. Okay, excellent. That's even better. Fantastic. Good. Probably in the library then. They probably have like another coat that's like their library coat. Let's be real. it's their reading jacket.
It was a wizard in the library with a flower.
Yep.
That's it for mine. Does anyone else want to goof off?
I'm trying to think of a good goof to do.
Let's do a good goof.
I think like let's say maybe the next morning we maybe came back to the decorating, or less, there's like the daily chores or whatever. Or less gets a couple minutes into sweeping or whatever it is that he is supposed to do, and then immediately like barrels into the main area, and it's just like, everyone, I've invented a game.
Oh.
What kind of game?
Okay, so we're gonna need some supplies, and like starts gathering things, and there's like a hopscotch component where it like draws out a little like thing where you have to walk through, and then there's like also you have to like balance something on your hands while you do that, and it's like, and everyone does that, and you get 1 point if you make it to the end, and you get negative points if you fall or if one of the teacups falls and shatters, and if you get 5 points you win.
Okay.
So it's
Also everyone's blindfolded.
Oh.
This is getting way out of hand.
I'm sure it's fine. And I think the wizard snaps, and like everything in like this hallway just extends, and everything pushes to, like, doesn't push to the side of the wall. The walls like open up and everything slides and goes away. It'll be fine.
I think Orlest then like has like a burlap sack of some sort, and it's like, don't worry everyone, I have made, and like pulls out, and it's a teacup, and they just take it and throw it on the ground, and it breaks, and then like it's like, okay, but hold, and then like squats down, and then like with a hand just goes whoop, and pulls it back together. Don't worry, it's especially made for the game so that when we all break them all, well, when you all break them all, when you try to do the jumps, then they won't get everywhere.
Are you the judge then? Or are you going to be the victor?
Yes. I'll judge because I know how to play, but also I'll demonstrate and go first. And like clearly having practiced is like 1, 2, and like throws a blindfold and grabs 2 of the mugs and like runs through this little like hopscotchy pattern thing, and it's like that's 1 point for me, and then like with a thumb like lifts up the blindfold and is like, who wants to go next? You get an extra point if you balance a cup on your head too. I didn't mention that before, but that's an extra point.
I can try to go next.
Mm-hmm.
I think we established earlier, or I kind of did, that Enoch has trouble staying corporeal sometimes. So I think you try to place it in his hand and it just goes smashes on the floor.
Oh, don't worry. That's one of the special trick ones, hopefully. Here, take this one, and then just like into hand. See if that is gonna do anything this time.
He tries to focus and grabs it, but like the blindfold starts to like come inside of his head.
Yeah, like can only
it's like slip.
Like
yeah,
we see
only
the,
one
like,
thing at a time.
The face go like slightly.
Yeah,
is corporeal as the hand like actually forms.
And like tries to walk through slowly, but like slowly the mug will like appear inside of his hand and go through and
sludges through like
by the end, like both things are partially inside of Enoch.
Oh,
I don't know if this counts. Judge?
I think you get a point. Yes, you get a point for sure, and we'll work on different rules for partially corporeal beings.
That sounds. It's very generous of you. Thank you.
Wiz, would you let? Wiz, can you do it?
Now, Wiz, who has basically solely only relied on magical things for the majority of their adult life, comes up with steps forward with an air of like, yeah, I got this. And as soon as they're standing there with the teacups in their hands and the blindfold is like starting to be put on, they're like, and they get like 2 hops in and every teacup breaks. All of them. they all break.
Just they all shatter.
They all break. They all fall down and they all break.
Okay.
Just instantly. And then they kind of stop, and then they wipe their hands and they say, I can do it again. And the blindfold is still on. They turn back around and they walk 2 steps back and they kind of bump into a wall. And then they turn and then kind of snap their fingers, and the teacups come back. And they do what you made them to do, and then they try again, and they get 3 hops in, and then the same thing happens, and they hang on, and they try it like 2 or 3 more times, and they don't get any. They get halfway, and then they with another crash, they just kind of stand there, blindfolded, with surrounded by teacup shatters. I don't think I'm very good at this game.
No, you were really getting the hang of it there.
Is Mez here or no?
Just you
Up to
tell
you.
us.
Yeah.
Mez can be here. This is the house.
Oh, I'd love to be here.
Oh, then be here.
And
Then you're here.
that happens.
Bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam.
Can I have a try?
Yes, absolutely.
Takes off the
Gives a little
blindfold.
bag. You grabs the cups. Is like, here, you hold the cups, and I'll just. Would you like to put on the blindfold, or do you? I'm not quite tall enough, I don't think.
They'll then kneel down and have you put it on.
Right, and just around Mez's eye spots.
Mez will take the teacups, and are we supposed to balance them on our heads?
Well, you have to do two on your hands. That's the base game. But then if you want extra points, you have to put one on your head and balance it too.
Okay. Mez will kind of take her hands and kind of fold them together, almost in a kind of fashion, and the teacups will just look like they're floating a little bit as they kind of get caught in that kind of airy exterior, as she just kind of glides across the little hopscotch to
Just
the
like-
end.
We'll kind of just dancing through all the little spots.
Yeah. And it just is like super, super level and just like, that was fun.
Oh, that. Oh wow. Okay. Let me tally the points. So I got one from the Cubs, and Mez did the. I'm gonna put it. I think Mez won from the. It was a very stunning performance. Can we? Everyone has to clap now for the winner.
Oh, is this what you get for winning? You get an applause?
Yeah. Also, and
It's a nice sound.
yeah, or less also having not realized that they had negated to think about a prize, like hold on, and like runs to the other room and finds like a little wooden block train, like one of the and just like, and then
Fantastic.
you also get the traveling train.
Oh, thank you very much, Orles. This was fun. I think she'll look over to Enoch, kind of for definition of fun.
Slowly, like, makes a thumb appear.
This was fun.
It was fun. You're right. This is fun, everyone. We did it.
The Wiz is standing there, by the way, just like really, just like looking at this hopscotch game, just like thinking it to themselves, and like kind of like mumbling a little bit, trying to figure out like what went wrong.
Mez will kind of see that happening and will try to catch eyes with Wiz and go, to not be perfect at something is to be human. Perhaps it's a good thing.
And I think they'll spin their finger around and like a little a small like pocket-sized notebook appears, and they start writing something down, and as they walk away, getting back to work themselves.
Just float over to Enoch. Did I say something wrong?
No, I think the wizard is just perhaps taking time to ruminate on your words and advice.
Isn't it good to be human?
I miss it, yeah. Yeah, it was nice.
They're human, or less is human. I was just stating the obvious.
I don't think the wizard likes not being good at things. I think that's probably part of it, if I had to guess.
There are days that I wonder whether the wizard likes being human.
I'm not sure. You should. That's something you could definitely ask them sometime.
I'll keep that in mind. The flowers smell lovely, by the way.
I'm glad you like them. I can go out and grab you a specific one next time me and Orlester are out if you'd like.
I would like that. I miss floating through the flowers.
Is there a favorite you had?
There was one. It wasn't necessarily, just always smelled so sweet. They were big, but I think they're called peonies.
Next time I'm out, we'll keep an eye open for them and bring some back.
Thank you. I am going to go and attempt to cook.
forward to it.
Flies away. Something instantly breaks.
More teacup shatter.
Was that one of mine?
It's
The
like,
other-
I just cleaned.
That was my goof. Do other people got goofs?
I
would
think
like to do.
Mez is the only one. If Mez wants a
If
goof,
Miss wants one.
but you're not
Liz,
required
would you like to do a goof?
I believe my goof was participating in y'all's goof.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
All right, did anyone mark anything off?
I got nothing left to mark off.
I did. I
Ooh.
marked my things off. I did it. I got
Well,
even
yeah.
the starred one.
Yay!
Hmm
I think in. Ooh, I think I've marked my last one off, which
Hell
was warn
yeah.
the wizard they're in danger of losing their humanity.
You did it!
I did it, and I
Fun
didn't
way to
even
do
know
it.
I did it.
Ah, look at that organic character.
That's good.
Organic
Well,
doing it.
Let's go.
I did it.
Oh, and you can write down what you learned, or we can tell us what you learned if you'd like to, but are not required to.
Let's
They're
see.
good at a game.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, one of mine was lift everyone's spirits by turning something tedious into a game. It wasn't, I don't know what the other people are up to at the time, but I turned something tedious for me into a game. And by that I mean, I gave it up to go play a game instead. And I learned that everyone's got different talents and people can surprise you.
Wizard is bad at games. That involves physical
That if you
anything.
focus all of everything in your whole life on doing magic stuff, that maybe simple tests of dexterity.
Not so
A
great.
little tough.
Not so easy. Not so great.
Hmm
Bark, bark. Stumpy is barking in the background.
Bark, bark, bark.
Uh-huh. I also got
Stumpy the
my-
Catamancer is barking.
I heard a Stumpy there for sure. I also got my starred one, the bluntly expressed doubts about someone's place in the family. I don't know what I learned from that, but we're figuring it out.
Oh, buddy.
Oh no, I'm sad.
I won.
You did it.
I made you. Aha! I get a point from everyone. I made you all do an emotion.
Oh, God.
Now what do we do? Well, now we have another scene.
Spicy.
Yes, the last scene of Act 1.
Yeah.
Spices.
You want to read it?
Yeah, it's budding romance. This is to be played with the wizard and the cursed. You've been alone for so long that you've convinced yourself you've never wanted romance. How does something unexpected make you realize that maybe you do want something more after all? The rest of the family is either not present or is completely occupied with something else. What is the situation and why are the two of you not involved? And it says that the other players are free to take suggestions as to what they could possibly be doing.
I think I'm asking Orlest how to be more human. And so I am trying to learn how to play. Kind of like
We're
Data
having-
did in Star Trek, where he's
Yeah.
like, play.
Play. We're having a play date.
Having a little play date, or less is trying to figure out how to teach someone to be human.
I'm trying to teach
Which-
Orlest how to float.
Yeah.
You're on your way to bird ascension. You're gonna be a bird. You're
The bird, or less the bird knight.
But listen, now I'm gonna write. I'm making a note.
I did
Yeah,
write it down.
Excellent.
I did it for when I get the root game.
Oh, God.
The whole stumpy thing's gonna happen.
Just got the email about customs problems on the shipping. I'm like,
Yep.
Don't do this to me.
Someday. Excellent. So I think in between the game time, the game moment, and whatever moment this is going to be, the Wiz makes their way back to the library and finds the flower gift. And the Wiz can be absolutely obtuse many times, a lot of the time. But like puts one and one together and does somehow make two. And it's like, oh, wait, flowers. They went to go get flowers. This wasn't here when Orlest was here with me. Huh, interesting. And, I think would probably... So I think where they would go is they would have the flower, and I think they would go without really thinking about it up to the like greenhouse, like where your house is, to be like outside, and they just kind of like are there, and they notice that they're there, and I think there's like a garden-ish area, like a you know, a yard, and there's like a seating area there, and I think like a gazebo. I think they go over there, and that's where they are. So whether you happen to be there, or whether you happen to be, you know, stumble across them, because they've got their little notebook, and it's kind of like sitting next to them, and they've got the flowers, and they're just kind of like looking off as they're, you know, the house is coasting through the air. They're also not wearing their glasses. Is it because partially I don't want to wear them right now? Yes, but also because they only really wear them when they're around other people.
I think Enoch will come out of the shed to do some like light gardening, and sees the wizard there, who I don't think comes up here like alone super often, so would approach. Just getting some fresh air.
Oh yes, yeah, I was in the library, and it can get a little stuffy sometimes.
It's one of the reasons I like it up here. Yes.
I found these. Just kind of holds up the flowers.
Did you like them? I thought they might have matched one of your, you know, coats well.
Yes, it was unexpected, and they smell very good. They're just kind of like, I think they're not wearing the same coat that they were before. They're not wearing their library coat either. I think they're just wearing like a vest with like their sleeves rolled up, and I think they just kind of like tuck it into their vest pocket. And they gesture towards the you know, the seat that they're on, and say, you're welcome to join unless you're busy.
Oh no, we can. Love to sit for a moment. We'll take the seat next to you.
I think there's like a little bit of a silence that kind of falls, and the wizard's trying to like continue staring off into the distance, but like they keep like glancing back to where you're sitting. And they turn their full attention to you. I have a question for you. And
sure.
For as long as you've been in this house, I don't know if you've ever talked about how you were cursed, or that whatever circumstances that led up to that. I've only ever heard you talk about your life before and then your life after here. but not that moment.
Are you asking me number 2?
I am.
Out of care.
I am.
Okay.
I am asking you a personal question about your past. You can choose to answer honestly or deflect with a personal question about my past instead.
How did you come here?
How were you cursed? Well, you see.
No, Enoch would answer honestly. I don't remember everything, to be honest. I remember going out into the wilds a little farther than, I'd been used to going to, just for a walk off the farm one day. And I remember encountering something that I can't quite remember, or something that I can't picture in my mind. And the next thing I remember was not being sure if I was dead or not. Feeling like I had no presence, that I was changed somehow. I thought I was a ghost, perhaps. Something had killed me. I'd met an unfortunate end. And I just wandered around the forest for a while. I didn't think to go back home.
Does the wizard know where Enoch was from?
Yeah,
Just generally.
part of? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, generally for my sake, but like.
Old map. It was Dorgan. It's like the.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's like a farming. Yeah, like a little farm.
Yeah, he didn't live in Ker, the Elzilian Empire. He was in Dorgan, and he was like by the wild, like a farm near the wilds, right by that river. That you can see in the map.
Okay.
Thereabouts.
The wizard's brow kind of furrows, and they pick up the little notebook that's next to them, and they begin like writing. They open up the notebook next to them, and then their pencil starts writing in it. Well, it's just kind of like laying open next to them.
Are you taking notes on my story? Or?
Kind of. It's a little strange. It shouldn't have happened. Things like that don't just happen usually. So I'm just making a note so I can maybe do a little research. Maybe next time we're in that area, we can do some searching and maybe see if we can find a way to change it back.
That's very, very kind of you. I appreciate that.
I mean, you seem to miss your family, so
I do. I mean, I like being here, of course, but I mean, I appreciate it. Or Enoch would like to compliment you.
Uh-oh.
But what am I complimenting you on?
Uh-oh.
Because it has to be a compliment that you think I'm making fun of you, but I am completely earnest.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. I feel like it's got to be either something about their magic or something about their rather gregarious and ostentatious presentation of themselves. It's got to be one of those two. Those are the constants, the two constants in the wizard's life.
I think it would be probably the magic then.
Okay.
I mean, seeing you like write with that would probably if it was something that you think I'm making fun of you for. What would the wizard get? I guess like what would the wizard get defensive about? I guess for magic then.
Relying on it to do mundane things such as
Yeah,
write in a
that's
notebook.
fair. Yeah. Yeah, would
Because
say
like
something.
they do it like without even thinking about it now. But like anytime it's brought up, they're like, I mean, yes. Okay.
I think Enoch would. Hey, I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase how a compliment that could be taken wrong.
Well, you can compliment, and I'll figure out how I take it wrong.
Sure. Yeah.
That's how most things work. That's how most situations socially work. At the very least, your intentions pure as clean as can be.
Yeah. Someone
being like, but actually though.
Yeah, I think as like watching you take these notes, or Enoch says, that's so amazing. I remember, how long it took me to learn how to write cursive growing up, and you can just, wave your hand and have notes scribbled out in front of you. It's astounding.
I think the pencil stops, and there's like a very tight-lipped smile as they just kind of like look over and pick it up and say, I've spent a long time learning how to do things effortlessly, and it's still fine. Like I can still write just fine on like I just start like writing in the book. And like if you were seeing it at all, they're not writing like anything in particular. They're just like writing the alphabet essentially on like a side page. But like in a flustered manner. And they just kind of go on a little bit of a ramble of like, I don't know why people think it's just so, it's not that it's like easy. You have to spend time learning how to do things to make it look easy. So yes, I'm going to use it all the time. It's not, if you have the option to do it, why would you do anything else?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like I said, it's very impressive. I'm sure it took you, like it took me a long time to learn cursive. I'm sure it took you a long time to learn how to, make it float. I understand.
Are you sure? Because that's, I mean, you said it in the way that like a lot of my peers would say it when I did it in classes, and they were not, the whole idea of, oh, you can't do mundane things anymore. What are you, made out of magic?
No, I mean, I'm not sure how much you've been to the place I'm from, which is called Dorgan. But the magic is not very prevalent there. I mean, we very rarely, if ever, see wizards. You are the first I've met. So just watching you do things like this it's breathtaking.
Oh. And like the notebook is like open in their hand, and their hand is like resting on their leg, and then the pencil just starts writing by itself. And you can even see like it like flips the page back to where it was writing before. And it just makes a note of not a lot of magic next to like where your, your account, like abbreviated account is.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a small like embarrassed grin. Thank you. It's sometimes nice to be appreciated for simple things.
Yes.
um. Hmm. 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 Oh geez, I don't know. I don't know where to take any of these. Okay. I think that the wizard puts the notebook down, and I think we'll kind of turn a little bit to like glance out in and like feeling a little bit of like embarrassment and a little bit of like awkwardness, and doesn't really want to prolong any eye contact. Will like turn and kind of try to reposition themselves in how they were sitting before, and in doing so, I think that they're they like have on like the back of the bench or whatever they're sitting on, leaning up against. They lean an arm on it and are looking out, and then it just so happens to also land like close enough that it like brushes your like wrist and your hand, and like if the camera is pointed towards the Wiz, their face goes like and we touch hands accidentally. Do you prolong the contact or awkwardly pull away? What do you say? Because like the Wiz just kind of like stops and doesn't really like know what to do with their body.
Let's see. Enoch would prolong the contact, but what would he say?
I mean, it's also our game. If you don't feel like Enoch would say anything,
I don't think Enoch would say anything. I think the way Enoch would react would be, I don't think he would say anything. I think he would notice, like, yeah, like either was corporeal or became more corporeal in that moment to feel it and like notice it, but just kind of let it continue to happen. Probably like blush. I think we established he blushes a little bit, like turns a shade of blue. So would turn that shade of blue for a second and then just kind of continue looking off into like the beautiful horizon.
Yeah, the Wiz's heart is like very is fast, is fluttery, is like, this is odd, this is strange. Huh, what strange feeling is now here betwixt my ribs?
Okay. I've got two that I'm interested in, I think. I think Enoch hears a particularly loud thump / crash from the place Orless is practicing to float. So like after holding that, like the hand kind of touching for a moment, like kind of gets up at that and says, "Oh, I should probably go check on them, make sure Orless is doing okay."
Oh, yeah. We don't want them to break.
Yeah. And I will step away for a moment, but look across the room at you. Do our eyes meet, or do you look for me after I look away?
I don't think. I don't think that their eyes meet. I think that the wizard is kind of like looking where you were sitting. Just kind of like looking like they're staring off into the distance. But if you were in their head, you would know that they were looking at where you were sitting.
Okay.
No, you go.
No, you go ahead.
But yeah, as soon as you go in, and I think they hear the, whatever door creak open, they would look over, and like fish the flowers out of their vest pocket and just kind of twirl them around in their fingers and have like a soft and small, confused but genuine smile on their face.
Because you're looking for me after I looked away, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see Enoch like looks away or looks towards you as you're kind of looking at the chair, and then begins to walk towards the entrance to the main house. And like as you look for him, you see he has like, as opposed to being an amorphous blob, he has taken shape and has like, you can see his hair now, and you can see his hands are like fidgeting, and he looks nervous as he like, but you can see like his skin is starting to become more normal, like not this ethereal shade, and he looks much more human before he opens the door and walks in.
Uh-oh.
And as he enters, you can see it begin to become more shade-like again.
Uh-oh. Everyone is becoming more corporeal while the wizard turns less human. This is bad. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Okay, Aftermath. Well, we kind of talked about how the interlude ends. What detail or moment from this conversation do you find yourself thinking about over the next few days? I think no one would be able to see it, but like a small peek into the wizard's private chambers. Those flowers are in a small vase next to a window. Forever to nope, they are. Oh. No. So the flower has. I have a question about this particular flower. Did you
Yes.
Did you pick just like the flower, or did you pick it with like
No, it
roots
was
or
like
anything?
Excuse me, not with roots, but there's like, it's like a stem with like three or
Okay.
four like snapdragons on it.
Cool. The Wiz would have used just a little bit of magic to make sure that it had roots and or a bulb, and would have planted it in dirt. And it is the only thing that is not magically growing in the wizard's care. And they're thinking about how that like small moment of corporealness as you were leaving and being like, that means something. That means something. What does that mean? It's like lost in trying to figure out like, did I do that? What happened? Hang on. What happened?
Is that it first?
Mm-hmm.
The detail or moment from this conversation that Enoch finds himself thinking about, I think, is for sure the hand touch.
Mm-hmm.
Is what Enoch just kind of like doing short, like there would be a montage of him doing things throughout a week, like cleaning, cooking, hanging out with playing with Orlest, talking to Mez in the greenhouse, and like there are flashes of him saying us touching hands.
Excuse me. How do you convince yourself that this is an impossible attraction and attempt to bury these feelings? I think that the Wiz, they want to try to find a way to make you human again. And they're afraid that once they do, you'll leave. So they are focusing specifically on that, on this is just a momentary distraction on what my goal is, which is to get you back to your family. And so any sort of unnecessary attachments is only going to make that worse. So we're just not going to even worry about it.
I think Enoch thinks it's impossible because he just doesn't think the wizard would ever be attracted to like him, especially in this form, and like probably not other. Even if it was normally human, he doesn't think the wizard would be interested. So I think just kind of as time goes on, talks himself mentally out of it.
Well, now I'm sad again. Dang it! Dang it!
I crossed off a mark that scene.
Gasp.
And that was my star mark. My star mark was reveal your true form to the wizard without being aware of it. And I changed back into my normal form. I think I said it in the first episode, when I'm being honest with myself and my feelings. So that was the moment where Enoch realized that he was. What I learned is that Enoch realized he was attracted to the wizard.
Uh-oh. 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 Amazing. How stupendous. Oh, me, oh, my.
Lights, endless love.
And with that, we are ready for the Act 1 climax.
It's time.
It's time. Let's put on climax music.
Brown chicken, brown cow. I'm so happy we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. Act 1, climax. War approaches and the enemy has caught your scent. The wizard can't keep running forever. You need to buy yourself some space by confronting the enemy on their turf. What do you do? How do you all work together? And when you narrowly escape the enemy's clutches, what does it cost you? This game is for everyone and is played when all the Act 1 games have been played, which we have. If anyone has not crossed off their star mark for Act 1, they will need to incorporate it now. Oh, into this round of scenes, yeah.
I think we did.
I have, yeah. Is everyone
I
else?
think so.
Cool.
I'm good.
Hooray.
Nice.
Answer
Proud
the
of
following
us.
questions as a group. Why did you decide to confront the enemy directly, and what do you hope to accomplish?
So I think the wizard brings up the idea with the thought of if our big baddie, who I definitely remember the name of for sure,
I have it somewhere.
Theris,
I imagine Theris, yeah.
if they are looking for the wizard and by extension the house and by extension everyone else in the house, why don't we make it easy for them to find us, but in a place that we choose, so that maybe we can talk about old grievances or scare them enough to stop, or that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody has any additions or anything?
Mhm.
I think that makes sense. That's good.
Yeah, I think coming off of the near run-in at the market, that we're like, hey, maybe we just got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Whose idea is it to confront the enemy? Is the wizard Is the wizard enthusiastic about the idea or reluctant? If reluctant, what persuades them to go along with the plan?
I think the wizard brings the idea of like, maybe we should like talk to them. Does anyone escalate that to being like, but what if?
I don't think Enoch doesn't know any. Like, would just defer to everyone else, especially the wizards, like advice on this matter.
I think Orles maybe comes in with the like, well, yeah, we got to go get the bad guy. There's a bad guy after the wizard. We got to do something about that.
I just realized I was muted this whole time.
Oh no! I was like, it's
cool.
fine. It's fine. Mez is just really thinking about it.
I feel like Mez would be like, well, if this person is a danger to everybody, except for me, of course, I would like to at least be able to assist in some form or fashion. So maybe fighting them on home turf would be good, because then I could help.
You say they're not a danger to you. Well, here's the thing. If they take the house, you are at this moment linked with the house, and so therefore would also be in danger by proxy.
I feel like I maybe didn't phrase that well. I'm not saying I don't have concern for myself. I was saying that I was more concerned for you all. So I would like to be able to assist in fighting them, but I cannot leave the house, so setting terms where maybe we could corner them and... Am I not doing this right? Or less? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think I get, yeah. Like, we gotta lay a trap.
Yes. Someplace that I also can help. Currently, that only place is here.
So I don't want them anywhere near this house at all. I am quite possibly the best magic user around. However, Harris is absolutely... If I had to choose someone who might be better than I am, it is Theris. And I don't want to think what would happen if they decided to step into the house.
Would you also understand how it could be a nightmare for me to watch?
Then don't watch.
I can't. You've done this, wizard. I am beginning to care.
Well,
I would like to ensure that nothing happens to any of you. And you are strongest in the house. You know this house. You control this house. They do not. You could set up this house to be a fortress. Hell, it took us so long just to get doors and rooms.
I don't think I've impressed upon you all enough that so I may have fudged slightly when I said that they were only slightly more powerful than I am. They are quantifiably more powerful than I am. If they step into this house, I cannot get it back. That much I am certain of.
You may not be able to, but all of us together will. And that is what I'm proposing. It's not a fight
again,
you against them.
We do not have to fight. I would rather us not fight.
Then what do you propose?
Does that mean we're back to the trap idea? Some of the lackeys have already seen me. I could be bait. I've been bait in a scheme before.
I would like to rely on the scheme child.
I call upon the scheme child.
I call upon the power of the scheme child's bird
I tap
knight.
3 lands and I play my scheme child.
Bess just goes, I don't know how I feel about this.
They're smart. They're wily.
Of that, I know.
Does the house have it, Wizard? Does the house have any magical cannons or anything that Mez could operate during the showdown? Would that make you feel better, Mez, if you had a turret mounted upon the house to use?
Being of use instead of used would be preferable. I just am tired of seeing you all in some form of danger, standing idly by. There's got to be something for me to do. But I am bound here. Unless there is a way to extend that.
Well, what if we got the house really close to where we were gonna fight them at? Talk to them at?
I know that it is because of me that you are stuck in this house. And no amount of me apologizing and telling you otherwise will account for that. I think that you are literally a last line of defense in this house, though. I agree with Orless. We can get the house close to wherever it is we're going to try to confront them. And if we need to, we come back here, we defend ourselves inside of the house, and you become our default protector at that point.
That sounds agreeable. I understand we've had some conversations in the past. You may be the reason that I am bound to this house, but you are all the reason that I now call this a home. It's not that bad. I don't miss it as much. I just want to be able to help is all.
I know.
I will make sure no one takes our home, if that is what it comes down to.
Thank you. And then I think the wizard will set a course closer to the city that they had encountered. Our good friend, who I definitely remember, Theris. Close to the city. But like on the outskirts, enough that you could see the house from the city, but it's not like within firing range of any sort of, anything. Because we have to encounter the baddies at their place of power, and that's the most powerful place I can think of.
Ready to begin the confrontation?
Oh my god, I'm so nervous. As an aside, the demon will play the enemy, so...
Yes.
So out of character, that's how you can help, is just be nice to us. And
out of character, yeah. Right?
Well, I haven't been nice to you guys before, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also our dice. We need 2d6. So it's
yeah.
whoever's not in the scene gets this time what happens.
Those.
Oh, I have some. Excellent.
It's me and Maria first.
Yeah.
And if you hear weird sounds, it's just because I got an Insta printer.
Oh, amazing.
An Insta photo printer, and so I was just like testing it while we're chilling, and then I realized it kept going while we were talking, and I was like, oh crap.
I can't hear it, so you're good.
Okay, cool. Whew.
Okay, the confrontation begins.
Confrontation.
So we get to play through the following prompts in order. After answering the prompt's questions and briefly playing out a small scene, I like how those two words are there. One person in the scene will roll 2d6 to determine what complications arise. The player rolling may add 1 to their roll for each of their I learned, up to a bonus of +3. And then there are numbers for failures, partial successes, or total success. What is this, Monster of the Week? If there's a complication, it is narrated by a player not in the scene, and then play immediately proceeds to the next prompt. Hooray! So prompt number 1. Ty, would you like to read prompt number 1?
Going to the enemy's place of power. The cursed and the wizard go to the enemy's place of power to confront them. We don't have a monster. What precautions do you all take to ensure you arrive safely? For example, do you wear disguises, travel through sewers, or other routes?
I think that the wizard plans to portal in basically to the same place that the wizard and Orlest portaled out of when they were here last time. That good old wonderful brothel. And once again, I think the wizard dons their most drab outfit I think you've ever seen them wear. And they're not wearing shades this time, but they did it's an entirely different look. Like their eyes are like a bright, like icy blue, as opposed to kind of the darker speckled starlight that they usually are. And they're just wearing some like very loose fitting pants and kind of like a very long tunic like shirt. It's like all tied up in the middle. They've got on a very normal and boring but silly looking floppy hat. It looks very funny.
Enoch is just wearing like a big cloak. That's all he can like do to hide the form best he can. Just a big brown cloak. And you have to roll to see, either one of us can roll to see how well we do with this, or if there's complications. You want to roll? You want me to?
Yeah. I will roll because I'm making the portal. Yeah. So I think the goal of this is to make the portal in the brothel-like lobby, like back entrance area. And then the wizard knows exactly where Theris hangs out, exactly where Theris's like base of operations is, and doesn't want to go there, but will to try to talk them down, being like, "Yo, you got to stop this now." That's what the antithesis of this is. This roll or whatever. I've never rolled these dice, by the way. These are brand new dice. What do we got? 2 6s.
Hey!
Hell
Don't even have to
yes.
add anything to it. To this
I
roll.
don't even have to. Total success. You do
Exactly.
exactly what you intend. Wow.
How does the enemy make their entrance, and what do you say when you are finally face to face? Alex is Theris.
Alex is Theris, the high
Magister.
high person. As a reminder, Theris, the High Magister, has irrelevant gender, antiquated clothing, has hard eyes, and, as I wrote down, is too powerful for gender in a bad way.
Okay.
And needs
They
the
want-
wizard and the home for world domination.
Yeah. For whatever reason.
So you enter their lair? Why?
Yeah, so I think the portal is easy to make because they've made that connection before. And they, I don't think go, well, no, they would go there. They go to this, towards the center of the city. There's like a very large structure that one could equate to a castle, kind of. A very, very large, stately political structure. And then next to it is also a large and grandiose set of buildings with tall towers and bridges interconnecting them, which is, the wizard would know, the very prestigious College of Magic. And next to that is a smaller yet still grandiose building in this. There's a couple of smaller buildings kind of offset from it, but it has its own like fancy courtyard and everything, and that's where the wizard takes Enoch. And upon approaching the courtyard, not even like the building itself, they say, "No, I haven't actually seen Theris in quite some time. So I'm not sure how they'll react when they see me. This probably won't do anything. I think it's so I don't know, prepare for anything. Magic is more regulated in the city, but also they're kind of above the city in some ways, so hopefully we can just, talk about things." All right. And the wizard knows, but does not tell Enoch. Probably as soon as they step onto the courtyard, which is on Theris's property, Theris is absolutely going to know that they are there.
Oh,
like
100%.
100%. So like right before they do, they just take like a really deep and shaky breath, and then take a step forward.
As you walk through, taking a step onto Theris's property, walking by the towering, perfectly manicured, tall trees and gardens, it almost feels as though the flowers themselves turn to look at you while they walk by, as if Theris's eyes themselves lie within these plants. The pathway to the front of the castle, seems forever long, yet you reach the door quicker than you would have expected. And before you even have a moment to knock or announce yourself in any way, the doors open. And you just hear a disembodied voice. "Come in, wizard."
Well, side glance over to Enoch and will step in very hesitantly.
almost as if they're trying to be like more dramatic than they honestly need to.
Oh, I don't know
The
what
entrance
that means.
itself is very dark as the doors close behind you. And for a moment, it's pitch black until one by one lights come on in a circular pattern as it just lines this round foyer and leads up this grand master staircase, and up at the top, just gently tapping their fingers on the banister, is theirs. What do I owe the pleasure of this meeting?
Well, first off, you look great.
I know.
I heard in passing that you were still looking for me, and I thought I would stop in and see if I could, have a little chat, maybe catch up a little bit, maybe convince you to stop doing that.
Doing what?
Pursuing me and kind of just leave me alone would be great.
I would absolutely love to do that. When you tell me how that little house of yours ticks. I don't even want that house in particular, just tell me what's at the core of it. I'll leave you alone.
See, I can't do that. And I couldn't do it before when you asked, and I'm not going to do it in the future if you ask again. So this is where I'm kind of at an impasse, and thought we might be able to... I come here and I say stop, and you say okay, and then we part on our merry magical ways, both existing in this world together and not competing anymore about anything.
I wouldn't say there's really any competition, really, but not being oddly selfish. That's as wizards, we spread our knowledge. We share it with others. You hoard yours in a house that barely ever touches the ground. Fine. Have your conversation. I will listen. But I do not promise to change my mind.
Okay. And the wizard looks over to Enoch with like a slightly raised like eyebrows of like, I didn't think this would work, but all right. But I think that's a good like meanwhile transition into
Yeah, because you did roll a
scene two.
12.
I did
so
roll.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
You did great.
The second phase is securing the home against attack. While the curse confronts the enemy directly, the demon will use the distraction to secure the home against attack. Whoever stayed behind will assist.
Ooh.
Demon,
Or
what magic
less
do you work?
Yes.
If you have assistants, what do they do to help ensure it goes to plan without wizard assistance? Do they complain, or does everyone work well together?
Ooh, so it's or less than and the
Or
Or
demon.
less
less than
messy.
demon time. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun. Okay, let me pull up my thingy. Does my page have things on it, or do I just come up with shit?
You
just come up with shit.
Okay, bet.
Mhm.
Be magic. Go.
Demon, Mez finally gets to stretch out their magic skills and kind of takes Orlest aside and goes, so you know everything that wizard was teaching you to try and keep you safe, right?
Yeah, all the sigils and the magics and the spells and such.
Yes, I want you to forget all of that. We're going to be doing some weird things. But
Roger that, boss. Just like
hopefully it will work, because I feel as though a wizard is going to expect those things. They're going to be looking for those things. They're going to know how to bypass those things. So for us, we are going to hit them with something much older. And I feel like your mischievousness could help me. I want to mix a little
feel like
my old magic and a little bit of your physical Home Alone defense, kind of. You get my drift?
Yeah, I think we can cook up some ideas.
All right. And essentially, the demon is going to try and reinforce any type of physical traps that a wizard's not going to look for, because they're going to assume that they're coming into Wiz's house with all these sigils and all these blocks, but they're not going to expect like a giant log to hit them in the face. Or a giant cement block to land on top of them, because and it's all going to be physically triggered as opposed to sigil triggered. But we're going to make dummy runes.
Ooh.
So that they think that that is what's going to be avoided for the wards, but it's fake.
Incredible. Orlest has briefly left the room as you're like starting to get something set up, and comes back with some sort of like sturdy like bowl or something as like a shock helmet. Like, all right, are we ready to do this?
Yes. Mez will help put that on you and kind of like fit it to their head. Probably put like a little bit of found one of Wiz's scarves and put it inside the bowl so that it sat nicely on your head.
Excellent.
Let's cause a little trouble. I feel like we're gonna make a mess, and it's gonna make the wizard upset. And that, for some reason, makes me feel warm inside. Let's go.
Yeah. I think it's a montage of like putting all these weird things together.
Oh yeah, you think of like everything Home Alone that's horrible, but way better camouflaged than that, I feel.
Yeah.
And
like
then,
less obvious.
Yeah. And Orless can do some sigils as well.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
like,
rein them in at all. They're just like, if you want to do that and you feel like that's protection, you do whatever your heart tells you need to do to protect the wizard in the home. But also, let me know where it is so I don't run into it.
No, I think like it does a bunch of stuff that is going to appear to be stuff, like at least at first glance, like obviously this is a powerful wizard or whatever that we're up against, but it's a lot of like just like annoying like magic blocking and
oh, you're playing your blue counter deck.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like stuff that's really just going to get in the way and be annoying. Like it's just like, oh, it blocks magic, or like it does magically seals this door or that door, and it's like it's nothing designed to actually work, but it's like, oh, looks like, oh, look what we did to protect the house type of things. And it's like it's teaming them up with anything, like you said, like you've got like some physical trap and like right in front of it, it's like, ooh, here's a magically warded door. And as soon as they get into it, it's like boom, log or whatever.
I feel like just making as much of it like just an annoyance is like what's perfect. Yeah, but is constantly leading them away from the main parts of the house. It's just constant like misdirections.
Yeah, all the like quote unquote better warding magic is along all the stuff that doesn't matter.
Yep. Perfect. I love it so much. I'm here for it.
All kinds of weird physical traps. We've rigged the kitchen in some way or another, surely. It's been such a staple of the Act 1 so far that, I don't know, we've rigged the stove or something to like shoot flames.
There's the 50-year-old flower that's somewhere back there that may or may not be flour.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Or like the actual literal flowers that are everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's like gonna turn into a freaking like the end of Beauty and the Beast, where all of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything just comes to life, but not in like a magical way, but in like it's just y'all are just puppeteered and like found a way to
Yeah.
make it all just like come to life.
100%. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Gosh, do we roll for this to
Yeah.
see if it?
I
Oh,
think so. Yeah.
shit.
See if there are any complications.
2d6.
Is this the one where you put things in that you've learned and stuff?
Yeah, you can add
You can put up to
up to
+3.
up to +3.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I have learned 3 things.
Excellent.
Nice.
So you can do +3 if you need it.
Okay. Hey, that is an 11.
Nice.
6,
Nice.
2, which is 8, plus 3, which is 11.
Goes
Total
off without a hitch.
success.
Orlest and I are literally the Chaos Twins.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Chaos goblins, let's go.
Mhm.
And a good bonding opportunity for them because they
Yeah, it's a
haven't really
learning
had that
opportunity.
moment.
Absolutely.
I like this because it's like suddenly the responsible ones are away, and then immediately or less gets validated with just like Mez being like, "All right, it's time to cause problems on purpose."
Yeah. and Orlest is like,
Yes.
oh,
My day has come.
Finally,
you're like,
She's like-
oh, I get you. You're as mischievous as I am.
I see.
I'm just more corporeal than you are. Aha.
Yeah. We
Same
bonded
hat.
over torture. And
Look,
mean,
torture. We don't like to use the T word with
Mischief.
these schemes.
we
Yeah,
bonded
mischief.
over mischief and trickery.
Oh, that
But-
T word is fine.
Yeah, trickery is a good one.
Yes.
Part 3.
Part 3, I guess.
Yep.
The trap is
Alright.
sprung.
Uh-oh.
Now I have to get my evil scheming on.
Yep. Whatever your hopes for this confrontation, the enemy was prepared for something like this. They try to take the cursed hostage, but are stopped by the wizard. Was this part of the plan? How does the cursed feel about needing to be rescued? Wizard, what do you say to the enemy? What do you say to the cursed?
Okay.
Was this part of our plan?
Was this part for what? The curse to get captured potentially?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Oh, this isn't like a
This
heist
isn't like-
movie thing where
no.
this was part of the plan all along.
Dear
and
God, no.
Enoch's. Yeah. Okay.
No, the wizard was hoping that if Theris had been like, "No, I don't want to talk," the wizard was gonna be like, "All right, dip," and would just run really fast and portal out again with the cursed. That did not happen, and so the wizard was lured, as they typically were, because Theris is good with words, into a false sense of security, and therefore was not expecting a trap, because they never did, and to continue to never do.
How does the cursed feel about needing to be rescued? Enoch, I think like in that moment he's like, what am I doing? Why was I here? What was the plan again? I think I lost the, Enoch is questioning his worth of like his involvement in this part of the plan
Yeah.
as he's getting taken.
Yeah. How to get into the narrative mindset? How does this trap come about? Because I think like the conversation was starting, and I think the Wiz was talking to Theris about like trying to convince Theris that Theris is a very powerful magician. They can definitely figure out something different if they want to, emulate whatever I had made. And kind of like, rambling on, slightly complimenting, but not quite, Theris. Acknowledging that they are powerful, so why aren't they doing something with that? Kind of compliment. So what I would love a picture painted of what am I reacting to?
Dogs, obviously.
I don't hear dogs.
You are, like you said, lulled into a false sense of security. Theris
Almost
is
as
very,
if I forget that Enoch is actually here.
yeah.
For like a brief moment. Because
I feel like the wizard
preoccupied.
the Wiz is always drawn towards power. Maybe not so much in the fact that they are power hungry, but in that it is fascinating.
Mhm.
And Theris does have a lot of it.
Mhm.
And it draws you in the curiosity aspect of it. And so you follow Theris up the stairs as they lead you towards a sitting room. And goes and the entering into the room, it's a very opulent looking room. You look up and you see a constellation chart embroidered in gold leafing of the heavens above you. There are bits and bobs of astronomy floating on their own, books and books and books, as far as the eye could see, and 3 chairs, as if they were planning just for you two to arrive, with tea already piping hot and ready to go. And they invite you to sit. Sitting down, you almost for a moment are lost in how comfortable the chair is. And you're looking down and you're looking around, and then when you look up, you realize that the seat that was right next to you, the one that was for Enoch, is not there. And you look above Theris, and behind them is a large gilded painting frame. In it is a struggling Enoch sitting in that chair, trapped in the painting.
Oh no, it's so much worse than I thought it would be. Uh-oh.
You said we were going to talk. I thought we should do this privately.
So Ty, can you reread the last bit of this, because
Yes.
the one that we
Yes,
have
of
is a
course.
little bit worded
Oh.
slightly different.
Mine was, how does the curse feel about it? Which is the same. Wizard, what do you say to the enemy, and what do you say to the cursed? And then you should roll this one probably.
I think the wizard slowly stands up as they say, hastiness does not become you, Theris. So I would recommend not doing anything to him, pointing at the picture. We may do some hasty things if that happens. And they'll look up to Enoch, and we'll give you like a little bit of a smile, but like their eyes, which they've dropped their facade by now. They're back to their normal selves. Their eyes are like kind of flashing almost in like this like smoky starlight sort of display as they look and say, "Don't worry, I'm very good with magic."
Yeah. If Enoch can move, he just nods slightly.
Yeah, you can move you find that it's almost like moving in jelly. It just
Okay.
your movements are slowed, as if you yourself are covered in the paint of the painting that you are in.
Enoch would just nod then.
It's like
And then
syrup.
as for something that might go wrong, the wizard is going to attempt to cast some magic to essentially swap Enoch and Theris.
Oh, very
Are you
interesting.
gonna add anything to the roll?
Oh, hell yes. I'm going to add everything to it if I need to. I certainly am.
Nice.
This, would like this to work would be great. 10 plus 3 is 13.
Oh yeah.
Big magic. Let's go. Big magic, no whammies.
Well, almost, as they're trying to kind of like, what is it? Have a comeback to you as you're saying, don't be too hasty on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They go to try and have a quick retort, and as soon as their mouth opens, you do your flourish. Do you want to describe how you do this spell?
Yes. So, I think what they do is, because Theris is sitting. Is Theris sitting in the chair across from them?
Yes. So
Okay.
it was like a triangle,
Right.
chair,
Yeah.
and then behind them is on the mantle is the giant gilded picture that Enoch
Excellent.
is in.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to there's like some small like finger movements. And there's like a little wisps of black smoke. And then I'm going to very suddenly and abruptly sit down in the chair and slam my hands on the arms of the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, like there's the switcheroo happens. And Enoch is now sitting where Theris is sitting, and Theris is now sitting in the painting. And like
I love it.
when it happens, they were mostly expecting it not to work because this is a very powerful magic user's place of magic, and so it shouldn't have worked. And then when it does, they're just like, oh, and they'll run over and they'll grab you and they'll say, we need to go now.
All right, agreed.
Amazing. As you're having these thoughts of like, this magic shouldn't have worked, I don't understand, you, for the briefest of moments, see a look of surprise on Theris's face as they find themselves in the painting, and they just kind of go, that was rude, and you all bolt.
Yikes.
As you see Theris start to unfold themselves from the painting.
Uh-oh.
Though it will take them a little bit, it is still their own spell and their own home.
Yep.
So it won't take them as long as you'd like.
Yep. Great. Good.
Rand, wonderful.
Grad. Cool. Cool beans.
beans.
Excellent. We're in a daring escape. Sorry, if you'd like to read it in case it's different. We succeeded.
The number of successes and failures, yeah, we are all successes. Everything that happened went according to plan. How did the wizard know what the enemy was going to do, and how did you all come prepared to foil the enemy's trap? We kind of explained it, but
We explained how I foiled it.
Yeah.
I foiled it because I
Sure.
know magic, a lot of magic.
Yeah.
But I think that even though they were kind of lulled into this, lulled by the words, because the words are always very pretty and poignant, and powerful, of the 3 Ps of a magic user. They did not come into this situation thinking that it would be a favorable outcome. So they were prepared for something bad to happen. It just took longer than they anticipated for something bad to go on.
If I might offer something, you also went in with somebody you recently have discovered having feelings for, so now you have something to fight for.
Yep. Also.
And what do you steal from your enemy as you escape, wizard?
I steal 2 things. One is innocuous and very petty. It's a teacup.
Fantastic.
It's the
We're out
only
of 'em
teacup.
now.
Yeah, it's the only teacup that the wizard is ever going to drink from ever again. And they're in a library. So I think what they're gonna do as they're about to like run out of their room, the wizard like
grab a tome.
Yeah, the wizard like kind of stops at the doorway, and Enoch maybe like runs past them a little bit, like a step or two, and they turn back and they just kind of they look at this huge library and whisper a few words and are like waiting for like 2 seconds, and then I think 2 or 3 books of just various sizes, maybe not too big, fly over, and the wizard just grabs them out of the air and just starts huffing it until they can get to a place that's safer.
Yeah, I'll say it will be 2, one very small, like super innocuous looking, like super mundane, and then one like medium-sized book that has a little tattering around the edges. And considering the pristine nature of the entire library before you, it's interesting that these 2 books floated your way.
This is good. There are specific kinds of books that I was trying to get, and
I had a feeling.
Great.
And I always feel like those are always going to be the most inconspicuous.
Yep.
Getting to safety. Once the escape is made, you split up. The wizard creates a distraction so that the cursed can get back home. What distraction does the wizard create? How does the curse get back?
Okay.
Teleportation stones.
So where they're at is kind of in like a very open, prominent, well-traveled part of town, or part of the city. And as described earlier, you can't just do magic willy-nilly unless you're like, High Magister or whatever. And so I think by the time they get outside and onto the courtyard, like the wizard knows that Theris isn't going to be stuck for long, because it's their freaking house and their magic, and all that sort of stuff. But they stop and they give the books, like they shove the books into Enoch's hands, or as much as whatever they can give to you. They're magical book. Okay, so no, what they do,
they're inside Enoch.
Well, no, they're not. They won't be. Well, the books are magical in nature, so like maybe you can hold on them.
Sure.
Who knows? But yeah, they'll like shove them at you, and give you what looks to be a marble, almost like a super clear spherical stone-like thing. And as they're like very nervously looking back towards the house, they say, this will make you invisible for a very short period of time, so please take this and run back towards the house. I'm gonna make sure that this doesn't escalate beyond ways that I want it to, so that I will meet you home. Also, make sure that those books are gonna be important, so don't die again.
Stay safe. I'll see you soon. Yeah. And like eats the pellet or whatever, puts it in like inside of him to become invisible and runs.
Magical berries.
Berries cream. But what they do is they're in the courtyard here, as you've said, there's like a lot of trees, a lot of greenery, a lot of things that are going to now be on fire.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna stand here, in the middle of the courtyard, and while kind of looking, keeping an eye on the house and waiting a minute, not literal minute, but like maybe 20 to 30 seconds to make sure that Enoch is not, in the trees that are about to be set ablaze.
To the trees.
They will, Roy Mustang style, snap their fingers and have flames fire from them in, like, to the left and the right, and just kind of explode. And then, they will take their hands and just kind of, like, rush them forward and, like, clap together, and the flames will just kind of go and like emerge at not on the house, because they're pretty sure that wouldn't do anything, but like right in front of it, and like this big gout of flame will just shoot upwards, enough that Enoch, maybe even those in the house, might be able to see it. It's very bright and very big. And they'll just kind of sit there and look at it and think, good, nice, very excellent. And then realize, oh, that's probably not good, and we'll start to run away.
Fantastic. Yeah, you are running up to these very tall trees that are quite flammable. And at first with a little bit of horror, and then bringing some kind of pleasure. As soon as you go to touch, right before you're about to touch one of the trees, it kind of speaks out to you, and it's the voice of Theris. Says, it doesn't matter how far or where you run, I will get what I want. And then you burn that tree, and the voice goes away, and you go to burn another one, and the voice comes out, I will find you and your little invisible friend. And you burn that tree, and just, it kind of repeats on its own cycle, and almost feeling as though the voice is getting closer and closer, and the trees around you are now ablaze, and through the mirage of the fire you can see a silhouette towards the house of Theris.
I run away. I run away.
Do I stay or do I go?
Oh, I go so far. Yeah, that's what I do. That's the distraction I create.
Yeah.
Did you, was there a how does the curse get backed?
Running invisible,
running.
I think is how, yeah. No special way about it, just...
Cool.
And I think that, that's part of this next section as well. It's like that you're about to read.
Yeah. For those who secured the home against attack, you move the home to pick up the curse before escaping into the wilds. How do you care for the cursed when they return?
Is there something wrong with them?
I wonder if something about
Fear.
being scared,
Yeah.
about being in that that weird like extra planar place is not vibing well with your not quite so human or ghostly visage.
Yeah,
You're like
I
having weird
think
magical after effects or something.
yeah, the combination of the painting, the weird books, the invisibility thing, like being stressed out from the situation, the combination of all of it, like Enoch is very less like his edges are very like not clean, very frayed as of his shade form as he is like panting as he arrives.
I think Mez will take you to your room, someplace, and definitely like make it so that it's quiet, it's safe, it's comfortable, and almost in a former fashion, like you know how some can like clean your aura, and it's kind of like pulling out these bad portions of it. She's trying to do that to you, to the frayed edges, to try and make you feel a little bit more whole, taking those frazzled parts and kind of like stitching a little bit, asking and just waiting for you to talk if you needed it. But it's just cleaning and putting together like they've watched you do.
I think Enoch is kind of frazzled, but a lot of will be like, we'll be able to make sure the wizard stay behind a little bit. Is he back yet? Are they back yet? Have you?
Orless is watching. The house is secure. The Wiz is strong. They will be here soon. Of that I have no doubt. And they're just trying to soothe you as they're pulling a little bit more frazzled edges from you.
Good.
How long does the Wiz makes it back, right?
Yeah, that is the next.
The next one.
Yeah.
For the wizard, what kind of shape are you in when you make it home? If your demonic form was revealed, it wasn't. Yeah.
So many.
How do you make it home? Is it? Yeah, we all the successes.
Yeah.
Too good.
We're too good.
So I imagine in my head that the Wiz tried to run out of the courtyard, and because of magic, because Theris was already there, couldn't get out of the courtyard. And I think they had a good old-fashioned like wizard duel in the courtyard there that was already on fire. The wizard was trying pretty much everything possible, and it wasn't quite working. And I think during this brief but like ridiculously powerful fight, they realized the only way that they have something that this wizard does not, and that is the ability to call upon this demonic force. Because in that way, they are far more powerful than Theris will ever be. There's like a little bit of a like, in media res kind of moment where they're thinking back to Mez and how they, were after the wizard used this like demonic power, but how this time it feels different, because this time it's not in order to show off, it's not in order to do something powerful for the sake of doing something powerful. It's so that they can survive, so they can get back and everyone else can survive.
I'd love to see how that changes the magic bit.
Yeah, so instead of just turning into this amorphous void echo of nothingness, I think instead it is more of like staring into a galaxy So it's still dark and it's still kind of amorphous in shape, but it's also brilliant because there's a power that is driving it beyond just power.
Selfish gain.
Yeah. And they don't kill Theris. They don't kill people. They don't fight people. They don't do that. But they do manage to weaken whatever strange barrier is keeping them in here, and are able to portal their way back. And I think that they managed to do that and portal onto the roof, where Mez's greenhouse and Enoch's house and everything are. But they're not doing too hot because they're in their weird form and it's bright and brilliant and weird. But I think the portal, they misjudged it slightly, so it's just up. So they end up falling, and as soon as they hit the house, they like instantly are back to their normal self, and they are like physically beat to shit. Vis-a-vis magical shit. So like there's weird burns and like marks, and they're super fun. Well, they were wearing a costume, but it was a costume because it was made out of magic. So their regular clothes are all just like tattered and burned and bloodied and everything like that. And they're still there. They're still conscious, but they are not looking too good.
I just pictured this super like aurora borealis kind of look.
Yeah.
Of these swirling colors of like Milky Way galaxy, where it's like no longer a pit of void, it's like there's life inside of it.
Yep.
And that in itself surprises Theris and takes him aback, because not only are they seeing this immense power, but they're seeing immense balance as well. And you get back to the roof. I'll say Mez probably instantly knows you're back because they could feel the pull, the drain. Running out, letting Enoch know that Wiz is back, and Enoch, you could probably look at Mez and see that they look more human. I wouldn't even say corporeal, I would say more human, as their features are softer as they run out to see the Wiz.
I think I think this time when they change back, or rather when they're they're yeeted back into their physical form, something that doesn't change back, I think, is their hair. It stays this like weird like galaxy aurora borealis kind of strange, wispy, almost looking like smoke or flame. And their eyes that would occasionally, like you would see like this black smoke or something go across them, their eyes are now black star fields. Like they're shining, but what used to just occasionally show up is now just there and doesn't go away.
Yeah, Mez will run up to you and help you to your feet and look back at you with eyes like your hair. This is new.
Yeah. I may have made them angry. may have set their house on fire.
Oh, I could smell it from here. But Enoch was telling me a little bit of what happened. You did good. Before you go anywhere you see a protective rune, it's fine. Anywhere you don't, I wouldn't walk there. Just food for thought.
Okay.
And they'll lead them over to Enoch and.
Yeah, they're not used to leaning on you because you're not usually very physically manifested.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty solid at this point, I think.
Yeah, they are definitely leaning fairly heavy on you. Not really used to having physical altercations or magically physical altercations, as it were.
Yeah.
Mez is enjoying the fact that, is this what touch feels like?
Hey.
I think as you're settling everyone in, we've got the little tablet things that we can communicate throughout the vast and weird house, or less. Since weirdly everyone else is in a weird danger situation and did the panic thing of oh, I guess I'm running the house now, and went to whatever weird cockpit there is for piloting it, and comes on the little tablet thing to it's hey, I know everyone hates to do the big jumps with the house, but we're gonna kind of hit the biggest one we've done ever, and there's probably weird levers and little steampunky setup,
sure.
Turning wheels and stuff, and it's I'm about to take the safety off of the frog legs, so if everyone could just brace real quick.
We're taking the governor off. We're taking this thing above 50.
And then just pulls some big lever. It's the house skyrockets into the air on the big legs off into the wilds.
I like to imagine that it goes above the clouds.
Yeah,
for just a very small amount of time, but just enough to get away.
Poofs through. Yeah.
Single tear runs down Mez's face. She sees the clouds.
Poof. As soon as the wizard sees, after the big jump, there's a moment before the big jump where the wizard sees that Enoch is here and is safe, and I think slightly their legs kind of slightly give out a little bit as they're leaning against you, Mez, from just a little bit of pent-up nerves and relief is released, and they they find some chair to sit in or something.
Well, they have to, because Mez is going to fold like a table, because they've not had a body like this before, and was not prepared for all of that, for weight. They're not really used to their own weight, and so they kind of buckle as well. But thankfully, y'all were by a chair and just buckles you into a chair.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
ungraceful.
What's solid mass and having knees
Yeah.
Gravity.
What's that?
It just goes, ow, ow. What is that?
Sorry.
That's what pain is?
Yep. Welcome to being more human.
Has a scraped knee. What the? Orlust, what is this?
Oh, you got an owie. Hold on. There's got to be disinfectant around here somewhere. Still, the little protective hat is disheveled a little bit. The scarf is sticking out, and it's hold on, no. I'll find the disinfectant. Hold on. Comes back with some industrial sized bottle of it. It's no, this'll do.
Just sit down on a table. It's an owie.
But yeah, I think while that wonderful comedic moment is happening, the wizard will look over to Enoch, who doesn't look too great.
Yeah, Enoch's half asleep. He acknowledges you're there, but his eyes are his glow orbs.
Yeah.
His glow orbs are not as wide as these
Powering
are
down.
Blinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll just look over at you, and just kind of Just kind of smile a little bit, not say anything because it looks like you're kind of heading to Sleep Town, which is a good place to be. And they'll just like lean back in the chair pretty heavily, and then like their eyes will start to close, and they'll also start falling asleep.
And as you drift off asleep, you just hear in the background, No. I don't know what you put on there, but it literally makes it feel worse.
Yeah, yeah, we just hear that like little conversation fades out.
And that is the end of Act 1.
Oh.
We
did it.
did it.
Wow.
Did it, everyone.
How wonderful.
Probably a good stopping place for tonight.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a perfect.
It's
That's
so
little,
good.
little button.
Little
It's a
butt.
beautiful stopping place.
Yeah.
Oh, how lovely.
So what
We're
were
all
everyone's
people.
famous favorite moments?
The famous moments.
The famous moments!
What was everyone's most famous moment?
Yeah, go ahead and say your name, where we can find you, and your favorite moment. Let's start with Alex.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm Alex. You can find me... It doesn't matter. I was like, I'm not there. You can find me on Instagram, at Crit Charisma. I post pictures of my dogs and funny things. Favorite moment of the night? I'm gonna be a little selfish, but I really loved the mischievous moment between Orlest and Mez, as they're just like, hey, you remember everything responsible? Forget it. Let's fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll how about that? I'll pass it off to my PIC partner in crime, Zach.
Heck yeah. Hi, I'm Zach. You can find me on the internet places at Zachary20XX. It's in the overlay if you need to read it. I do stuff. I tweet things. I stream games and such on the tweet it or the Twitchos or
The Twitch.
The Twitcher.
I tweet on the
Twitcher.
tweeters and I twitch on the Twitchos. Most famous moment from tonight. Not to just make this Orlest Mez love-a-thon, but when Mez just like did real good at the Orlest little game, I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
Just like, aw, this is precious.
I float.
You float. It's just like, wow. It was like just a little cute moment of nothing big happening, but something very big happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I will kick it over obligatorily to not Ty, who has to go last. So, Maria, would you like to introduce all the things that you do?
Oh my god, I would love to. Hello, my name's Maria. I also tweet on the Twitters and smash on the Twitchers.
Do you-
Twitch?
I don't think you want to say that.
Yeah, can
I
we take that
play
back?
games. Let's do that over.
There we go.
I do
Like-
Twitter. I do Twitch. I do everything. You can find me at Happy Capster everywhere. You can also find me typically bi-weeklies on Waffles Maple Syrup, where I play Pathfinder 2e. However, we are playing this week because we're about to go on a break. So catch us tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern on Waffles Maple Syrup. It's a very heavy episode, so please come prepared. I also... What else do I do? What am I doing? I have things coming up. I got big things coming up. Two new things coming up this month, and potentially more. So keep an eye on my socials for those things when the announcements go up. That's it, I think. Right now, that's it. If you like overlays and emotes, I do them, like the ones here. Ta-da! Here they are. You can buy them from me. Pay me money. That's me. My favorite moment. I'm a big sap, so I really liked the scene between the wizard and Enoch, and I'm excited for that to grow in Act 2 because it's a shorter act, but by God, does it just go? I'm excited for that. I'm excited to potentially drop the wizard's real name. So I'm just excited for like the rest of the story. I'm very excited. It's gonna be really good. That's
I
me.
love it.
Ty.
I'm Ty. You can find me here at History Society, where I don't know what we're playing next. Dave has just uploaded all of the Dadventures on the podcast and YouTube. So if you want to watch a Christmas-themed, out of control and hinge time, watch that.
Also, game night.
Oh
Play
yeah,
some
and
board
Dave
games.
uploaded Game Night too. We were on Maria's channel with James and Dave and me playing board games, and those were also wild.
They were
Oh my
just
God. Wild.
Maria's
ridiculous.
making some bonkers plays. That were
I
just
did a lot of
out
murder.
of control. Out of control.
I think you.
It's really good.
Now, not to spoil too much, I think you did all the murder.
I
to my
literally
understanding.
did all of the murder, actually.
Yeah,
It was
I
literally
almost more than
only
the
me.
automated killer in the first game.
Absolutely correct.
They're
And the
a
optional
killer.
murder in the second
Yeah,
one,
that
so-
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are on YouTube. Then they're great games. We was
Very
Camp
funny.
Grizzly first, and then Overboard. Both of them are very, very
Lifeboat.
good. Lifeboat. We
Life-
threw
boat.
people overboard, right?
People were overboard.
Overboarding for
Correct.
sure.
That was the
happened.
highlight for me. But yes.
Yeah.
My favorite moment from tonight. There was a lot I liked that people said. I mean, all the scenes were good. I liked the Mez scene too of winning the game, or like winning the game. But I also liked it because it was after we failed so horribly. Like this kid just made a brand new game, really excited about it, and like the first few people played just like beef it
Yeah.
completely. So having someone come in and do well was nice.
Mhm.
I think my runner-up, as an aside, was story time with Orlest. That was really
That was good, too.
ridiculously sweet and got a lot deeper than I thought it would be.
The story of Mayor Stumpy will live on.
It said I had to do the starred thing by the end of Act 1. And I started getting nervy because I knew I wasn't in the next scene.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
That was good. That was good. That was really good.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it was
Incredible.
And the painting swap too. Painting swap was a cool move. I like
Painting
that.
swap
That was
very
so
good.
cool. That was bless you, Alex, for giving us that, because that was
Mhm.
that made it so much cooler.
Yeah. That's a good
I don't know where that came from.
Your brain.
I guess
Good,
me
good
being
brain.
very tired just has so many good, weird, messed up things to do to people.
It's great. It was great.
Which tracks, which
And
means
that-
my dreams tonight are going to be amazing.
Hooray! Thanks everyone for hanging out. We're gonna go raid Friends Who Roll Dice. They are premiering a brand new game with some fantastic people. It's Urban Shadows. Eli,
Ooh.
Reliable,
Oh,
Elliot,
hell yeah.
who also has cameoed here on the Mythos Mystery Society, is running it. So, and also there's some great people
Yeah.
over there. So go and hang out and support as we go do that. There's problems starting the raid. Dang it! Why?
Oh.
Hang on.
Why do you hate us?
Why? I don't think I can raid. Okay, we're gonna do an unofficial raid because I think it's mostly just us. So go over to twitch.tv/FriendsWhoRollDice and like, just go. Just
Eli
do
is
it.
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, goodbye everyone. Toodaloo.
There's